What if the secret to staying calm was not controlling your life, but controlling your response to it? Nearly 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire. He faced wars, disease, political pressure, and personal loss. Yet in his private journal, he kept returning to one idea. You may not control what happens to you, but you can train yourself to meet it with strength. In this video, you'll learn 7 rules from Marcus Aurelius for building a calmer, stronger, and more disciplined mind. Marcus Aurelius became Roman emperor in the year 161. He had enormous power, but his life was far from easy. The empire faced conflict on its borders, disease spread through the population, people close to him died, and every decision carried consequences for millions of others. During all of this, Marcus wrote a series of private reflections that later became known as Meditations. He was not writing to impress an audience. He was reminding himself how to think, how to behave, and how to remain useful when life became difficult. That is what makes his ideas so powerful today. They are not theories designed for a perfect life. They are tools for dealing with an imperfect one. Rule 1. Control your response. Marcus Aurelius began with a simple distinction. Some things are within your control. Other things are not. You can control your choices, your effort, your attitude, and the meaning you give to an event. You cannot control other people's opinions, the past, the weather, the economy, or every outcome you want. A common translation of Marcus's writing says, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people lose their peace by trying to control what was never theirs to control. Someone criticizes you. You cannot control their words, but you can control whether you immediately react. A plan fails. You cannot change what happened, but you can decide what the failure teaches you. This does not mean becoming passive. It means placing your energy where it can actually make a difference. The next time something upsets you, ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release the struggle. If the answer is yes, take responsibility and act. Rule 2. Do not add a second problem. Life gives you problems, but the mind often creates a second problem on top of the first. You miss an opportunity. That is the first problem. Then you tell yourself, I always ruin everything. My future is over. Nothing will ever work. That is the second problem. Marcus understood that pain and interpretation are not always the same thing. An event happens. Then the mind creates a story about what that event means. The event may be difficult, but the story can make it unbearable. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means separating facts from assumptions. Instead of saying everything is falling apart, say this plan did not work. Instead of saying everyone is against me, say one person disagreed with me. Clear language creates clear thinking. When something goes wrong, describe the event without exaggerating it. Then decide what action is possible. Do not suffer twice, once from the event and again from the story you attach to it. Rule 3. Turn obstacles into training. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacle is not always separate from your progress. Sometimes it is the material your progress is made from. A difficult conversation can train your courage. A failure can train your judgment. A delay can train your patience. A demanding responsibility can train your discipline. This does not mean every hardship is secretly good. Some experiences are painful, unfair, and genuinely damaging. But even when you cannot choose the obstacle, you can choose what ability you develop while facing it. If people constantly interrupt your work, you can build stronger boundaries. If you keep losing focus, you can redesign your environment. If criticism hurts you, you can learn to separate useful feedback from empty judgment. The question is not, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, what quality is this situation asking me to develop? That question turns frustration into instruction. Rule 4. Remember that your time is limited. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that life is short. This was not meant to be depressing. It was meant to make each day more intentional. Most people behave as if they have unlimited time. They delay the important conversation. They postpone the meaningful project. They spend hours worrying about opinions that will not matter in a year. But time is the one resource you cannot recover. Remembering this changes your priorities. You become less interested in proving yourself to strangers. You become less willing to waste your attention on endless arguments. You start asking, is this how I want to spend one of the limited days of my life? This principle is not an invitation to rush through life. It is an invitation to stop living automatically. Enjoy your life. Rest. Laugh. Spend time with people you love. But do not give your best hours to distractions and then claim you have no time for what matters. Your attention is your life in smaller pieces. Spend it carefully. Rule 5. Do the next right thing. Marcus Aurelius was not interested in appearing wise. He wanted to practice wisdom. That meant doing his duty, even when he did not feel motivated. This is one of the most practical lessons from his philosophy. You do not need to solve your entire life today. You need to do the next right thing. Answer the message, finish the assignment, tell the truth, exercise for 20 minutes, apologize when you are wrong, make the decision you have been avoiding. When life feels overwhelming, people often think they need a perfect plan. Usually, they need a clear next step. Discipline is not always dramatic. Most of the time, it looks ordinary. It is choosing the useful action instead of the comfortable one, repeatedly, when nobody is watching. Do not wait to feel ready. Act according to your values first. Motivation often follows action. If these ideas are useful, subscribe to Wisdoms from Giants. This channel is about learning from the greatest minds who faced difficult problems before us and turning their ideas into practical lessons for modern life. And here is a simple challenge for you. Choose one of these rules and practice it for the next 7 days. Do not try to change everything at once. Wisdom becomes powerful when it moves from something you admire into something you practice. Rule 6. Protect your mind from other people's opinions. Marcus Aurelius understood that other people's opinions can easily take control of your mind. One person praises you, and you feel powerful. Another person criticizes you, and suddenly your entire day changes. That gives other people control over your emotional state. This does not mean ignoring all feedback. Wise people listen carefully, but they do not treat every opinion as a command. Before accepting criticism, ask, is this person informed? Is the feedback specific? Can I learn something from it? If yes, use it. If not, let it pass without building your identity around it. You are not required to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not need to answer every insult, and you do not need to become a different person every time someone misunderstands you. Listen to useful feedback. Release the rest. Rule 7. Practice. Don't just admire. The final lesson is the most important. Do not merely admire philosophy. Practice it. It is easy to watch videos about discipline and still avoid difficult work. It is easy to save quotes about calmness and still react to every inconvenience. It is easy to talk about character and behave well only when life is comfortable. Marcus Aurelius would remind us that knowledge is valuable only when it changes our actions. So begin small. When you feel anger, pause before speaking. When you face a setback, look for the next useful action. When you feel distracted, return your attention to the task in front of you. When you receive criticism, examine it before rejecting it. These moments are your training ground. You do not become calm by reading about calmness. You become calm by practicing calm responses, one difficult moment at a time. Marcus Aurelius was not calm because he lived an easy life. He practiced calmness because his life was difficult. His 7 rules are simple. Control your response. Do not add a second problem. Turn obstacles into training. Remember that your time is limited. Do the next right thing. Protect your mind from other people's opinions. And practice wisdom instead of merely admiring it. You do not need to become an emperor to use these ideas. You only need to face the next moment with a little more control, courage, and clarity. As Marcus Aurelius showed, a stronger life begins with a stronger mind. If this video helped you, subscribe to Wisdoms from Giants and share in the comments. Which of these 7 rules will you practice this week?